Hi guys, so as you can see behind me, I hope, we had an absolutely huge harvest from the garden this past weekend. If you haven't checked out that video, please do so, I'll link it below. But we also, among that, got a whole bunch of carrots. And this has to be the biggest carrot I've ever grown, possibly the biggest carrot I've ever seen. So it made me think I might want to try making carrot cake, which I've never done before. But I went online and found the best carrot cake recipe with homemade cream cheese frosting. So today we are going to go ahead and make a homemade carrot cake with garden fresh carrots and homemade cream cheese frosting. I'm really looking forward to trying this out. So I'd like to welcome you to my backyard Kentucky homestead. My name is Kim. So let's talk about the ingredients we need, and then we'll get to washing, peeling, chopping these up, and then measuring out and mixing everything else up. So let's get started. So all we need for this recipe are our carrots that we picked fresh from the garden. We will also need all-purpose flour, baking powder, baking soda, they're not the same, ground cinnamon, and the recipe calls for ginger and nutmeg, which I don't have, so we're just going to supplement or substitute that with pumpkin pie spice, which has cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, and allspice, so it's pretty close to the two. We need salt, a neutral flavored oil, 4 large eggs, some light brown sugar, some granulated sugar, some applesauce unsweetened, pure vanilla extract, which we made ourselves, and then 3 cups of carrots. So let me get these cleaned up and then we'll get them into the food processor. I'm also planning on going ahead and adding some walnuts. This is not in the recipe, but I'm going to go ahead and add some walnuts to it as well. I have preheated my oven to 350 degrees. I'm also, instead of doing the traditional 9-inch pan, just going to do a 13 by 9, which I have sprayed so that it won't stick. So we need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, spooned and leveled, or 250 grams. So I'm going to weigh that out. I don't usually, but we're going to go ahead and try weighing that out. And what I like to do, I don't have a sifter right now, but I've got this spoon. I think it was from the Dollar Tree. And it does a really good job of kind of like sifting the flour. And it would be good if I was on grams. There we go. It's 112, 130, 168. And we need 250, 247, 250. Just a little over. Perfect. Okay, 250 grams. Now what I will also do is go ahead and just sift this like this. I find this makes my breads lighter, and I imagine it will make the cake lighter. Okay, that should do it. In a large mixing bowl, we're going to whisk the flour, baking powder, baking soda, the spices, and salt until all combined. And for this, I'm going to do 2 different things. I have a Danish dough whisk, which I really like, but I think it'll be too open for what we're doing here, so I'm going to use a spoon for this portion of it. So we need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So the little thing here on the can is to level off the spoon. This is a 1 teaspoon measure. I'm going to go ahead and break it apart. I'm going to need 2 teaspoons. And then we need baking soda, which is, again, different from baking powder. They're not interchangeable. Baking powder has something additional into it. It starts as the bicarbonate that baking soda is, but then they add something else to that. So we just make sure that get a good spoon. There we go. Break that up as well. That one's definitely more clumpy. All right, so 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Now we need 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. Sprinkle that around. So that's 1.5, and like a little extra cinnamon, so I'm okay with it being a little over. And then the recipe calls for 1/2 teaspoon of ginger and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Again, we're going to just use the pumpkin pie spice. Smells good. So we're going to do 1/2, and then a little bit more, because what we're looking for is about 3/4 teaspoon. Okay, so those are our spices, and then we need salt, which is 1/2 teaspoon. No, actually, this would be good for here. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to go ahead and use this again. Again, I don't think I've ever made a cake from scratch, so this is going to be a very interesting experiment. Made a lot of quick breads. I made some cinnamon rolls. I mean, oh my goodness. I made some apple pie cinnamon rolls from scratch. It was apple pie filling that I had made and canned. And then I made the cinnamon rolls from scratch. Absolutely delicious. I have to do that again. Share that with you guys because it was so good. All right. Baking soda, nutmeg, cinnamon, ginger, salt, set aside. Clean up our powdery mess just a bit. And I did end up with just a little bit over 3 cups of ground carrot. So that was almost perfect. So now we want to get our wet ingredients together, and we are going to mix together our oil, our egg, brown sugar, granulated sugar, applesauce, and vanilla extract. So we need 3/4 cup of oil. And this is a 3/4 cup measure. So we're just going to fill that to the top. Pour that in there. Let it drain. We're going to need the 4 eggs. They are at room temperature. They've been sitting out for a little over an hour. If you are using eggs from your own chickens, you'll probably want to break those into a bowl before you put them into this recipe. But these are store-bought. Three, 4. All right, and no shells. Sweet. I do recommend very diligently washing your hands after you touch raw egg, because you have the possibility of getting salmonella and spreading that. Okay, we're gonna break up those yolks. Okay. To this, we also want to add, let's go ahead and mix this up thoroughly. Get it good and scrambled. Okay, so we have our oil, we have our eggs, and we need 1.5 cups of packed brown sugar. So with flour, you never want to pack it. With regular sugar, you don't want to pack it. That's really not an issue. With brown sugar, you definitely want to pack it. You want to squish it down into the measuring cup so it's firm. That's 1 cup. Looks like my 1/2 cup's MIA, so we're going to do 2/4. So that's 1/4. 1.5, yeah. Or 300 grams. Actually, there's weights up for this one too. I could have done that. So that's 1.5 cups of brown sugar. And then we need 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. It's 1/4. 1/2. It's always easier too if you keep your surface where you're working cleaner. And then we want to add our applesauce, and we need 1/2 cup of unsweetened applesauce. Oh, that smells good. It's 1/2 or 1/4. That smells really good. not used that before. Didn't have any applesauce in my pantry, so I went ahead and got a container from Walmart. So we have oil, egg, brown sugar, granulated sugar, applesauce, and vanilla. For vanilla, we need a teaspoon, and we're just going to be a little generous with that. Because this stuff is the bomb. If you have not made vanilla extract, it is so easy. I'll link that video below as well. Because it sits, the vanilla beans sit in that extract. It's not removed from it, so it just continues to just meld and get richer and richer. It is so good. So we won't need that one because we are actually almost done. Okay, I'm gonna mix until fully combined, and then we're gonna add in our carrots. Seriously, this is such an easy recipe. If this is really good, this will be so, this is so easy so far. If this is a good recipe, I will definitely be making this again. Okay, now we're gonna pour this over this, and we're gonna mix it in. Let me get a rubber spatula so make sure we get all of the goodies. Make sure we get all of the liquid. So I generally, and I may do this the next time, I generally would do the opposite. I would pour the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients just to avoid this. So I have to remember that, make a note of that for next time. Okay. And then we are going to mix this. And we want to do it just until combined. We don't want to overwork it or else the cake will be tough. You do want to make sure that you're getting to the bottom of it so that you have all of the flour up from the bottom. And that you get it all from the sides as well. All right, I think that's got it. So we have carrot cake batter. Ew. Yeah. Gotta make a mess. So where I'm putting this in a 9x13 instead of two 9x9 round or 9-inch round pan, I will check this at 30 minutes. So a 9x9 pan or 9-inch round pan would cook for 30 to 35 minutes at 350. We're going to do 350 and I will check it at 30 minutes. And what we need to do is insert a toothpick into it. And once that toothpick comes out clean, then it will be finished. It'll be done. Oh, I forgot the nuts. I did want to add walnuts to it, so I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle some on. Just a little bit. And I didn't measure this. This is just, it'll work. And then I'll just mix them in. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna put this in the oven for 30 minutes and then I'll check it and we'll be back when it's finished. There we go, we're done. So this took about 40 minutes to cook through and I tested it with a toothpick. We need to let it cool completely. Now, if we were doing it in a pan that we wanted to turn out, we would want to let it cool according to the recipe 20 to 25 minutes. I'm leaving it in this and going to serve it in this pan. So we're just going to let it cool completely, and that's going to take a while. And it's getting pretty late, so we're gonna go ahead and let this cool overnight, and then we'll make the frosting in the morning. So we'll be back in a jiffy. Good morning, guys. It is time to frost it. The cake has completely cooled. We did try it last night just to make sure it was good, and it is a delicious carrot cake recipe. For the cream cheese frosting, we need 1 8-ounce brick of cream cheese, 1 stick of butter that is softened. I ended up melting it in the microwave, 2 cups of powdered sugar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. We'll also need a spatula because we're going to have to scrape down the sides as we are proceeding through the process. And the cream cheese has been softened, so it's been out on the counter for a little while. So what we want to do, you're going to need to use a stand mixer or else a hand mixer, because we're going to beat this for a little while until the cream cheese is really smooth. So the next step is to beat in the butter and mix for 30 seconds to a minute. So we want to have this well combined and very smooth. Oh, that's looking nice. Yay! Okay, that's looking really good. Now we're going to go ahead and add 2 cups of powdered sugar and a teaspoon or so of vanilla. I'm going to do 1 cup at a time. This is a 1/2 cup measure. Okay, let's go ahead and scrape it, then we'll add the last 1/2 cup and the vanilla. Okay, so that's the last 1/2 cup. And then we need about a teaspoon or so of vanilla. It's a generous teaspoon. Okay. Nice. I like the consistency. It smells good. Go ahead and let it mix for a minute or so. Beautiful. Let's see how that. Yes, I love it. I'm gonna add just a hair because I added quite a bit of vanilla, which just a little bit of liquid and a lot of powdered sugar makes it a lot looser because it just dissolves. So add just a little bit more powdered sugar and then mix that in. That's good. Oh, that's lovely. All right. Go ahead and get the beater off. So all we need to do now is just put the frosting on the cake. And I probably do have more frosting here than I need because I didn't do the 9-inch rounds. Maybe not. Let's be close. Pretty good. To finish this off, we're gonna just take a few more of the walnuts and just sprinkle it on top. Uh-oh. It's early. There we go. The frosting is delicious, the cake is delicious, so this is definitely 2 thumbs up. Let's go ahead and give this a little bit of a try. All right, let's give this a try. So this is a 5 out of 5. Definitely make it super, super easy cake, super easy cream cheese frosting. That is absolutely delicious. If you have extra carrots, it's worth it. I didn't realize cake was this easy. I don't know if I'm gonna try other ones because this was so easy to put together. Absolutely delicious. I will link the recipe below. If you're interested in more wonderful dessert recipes, check out this playlist. And until the next time, I wish you happy gardening. Have a wonderful day and bye. And now I'm gonna go eat this for breakfast because it's that good. Yes. Thank you guys. Bye.